Hi there, this is Sam Trotta for Human Detour. I'm the co-owner of a company called Striation 6. We're a training and performance facility in Midtown Toronto. You should visit our website at www.striation6.com. Today I'd like to talk to you about glute training. Bum muscles, very popular. Some of the most popular exercises to train your glutes are things like squats and lunges. Those are very common exercises you see a lot of people doing in the gym. Today what I'd like to do is step back a little bit and show you some simpler exercises that'll not only help you train your glutes to prepare for things like squats and lunges, but also help to train your glutes in a more emphasized way. So we're going to start with some floor exercises, and we'll move to an exercise that involves a really simple range of motion, not a lot of load, that once again help you get prepared for things like squats and lunges, and hopefully help you get the most out of your glute workout. So this is Ethan. He's been in a couple of our other videos, and he's going to help us out today. So I'm going to get Ethan to turn over on his front, and we're going to do some preparatory isometric exercises to help to emphasize the glutes. So what I'm going to get Ethan to do is lie down with his forehead down on his hands, and we're going to get him to bring his legs right together, get him to straighten his knees right out, and have him lock his ankles so his toes are right underneath his heels. So if you want to just flip back there, there you go, straighten those knees right out, perfect. So the first thing I'm going to get Ethan to do is bend his left knee 90 degrees. So just come on up here. Okay, so we're going to train each side of your glutes, what we call unilateral training first. So what I'm going to do is have Ethan just really simply and gently raise his leg with this bent knee straight up off the ground until he comes to his own end range. The great thing about isometric exercise is there's no prescribed range of motion. It's all about what range is available to you on any given day. So we're going to have him hold this position for 10 to 15 seconds. And come on down. We'll have him rest for 3 to 5 seconds. We'll have him repeat it. And come on up for another 10 to 15 seconds. You want to repeat each of these exercises 3 to 6 times. You can go as many as 10 if you wanted to, but make sure you progress yourself at an appropriate rate. It's got to be about 10 seconds by now. Come on down. We'll have him do the other side. And come on up. Good. We want to make sure he keeps his pelvis nice and flat. What we don't want out of any of these exercises is for compensation and range of motion to come from the lower back. We want to keep it as local to your hip as possible to emphasize the glutes and keep your skeletal system as safe as you possibly can. And come on down. Safety should always be a top concern when exercising. And even though this looks simple, getting range out of the lower back, come on up again, Ethan, for a second one, poses risk to you that's really just not worth the reward, frankly. Good. How's that feel, Ethan?
Good.
Perfect. Okay, so the way we're going to progress it next, we're going to go back to Ethan's left side again, get him to get his legs right together. And we're going to get him to straighten his knees. Perfect. And rather than going with a bent knee, we're going to go with a straight leg. So I'm going to ask Ethan with a totally straight leg, keeping his ankle in the right position. We're going to have him raise his leg straight up. Okay, so this will not only emphasize the glutes, this will bring a little more hamstring into the situation as well. A lot of people like to sort of demonize the hamstrings as muscles that are too tight, holding them back. I've honestly never, in my practice, I've never seen this to be a true issue. And come on down. Once we start to figure out what people's imbalances are, the hamstrings become just like any other muscle, and we want to train them in an emphasized way. Let's come on up again. Let's hold it a little longer this time. Let's get you to really feel those glutes. Good. Try not to raise your pelvis up too high. Keep it down. Awesome. And come on down. So again, we want 3 to 6 repetitions on each side of 10 to 15 seconds. Let's try it on the right side. We're just doing a demo today, so we're going to keep it to 2 each side. And again, we want Ethan to keep his pelvis down. So this is one thing that we want to notice, that on Ethan's right side, he's got a little bit of trouble compared to his left. The range isn't as great without that compensation coming from the pelvis. So if Ethan, or as Ethan's one of my clients, come on down, then on the next session, we're going to emphasize that right side a little bit more and try to get it going. Come on up. So eventually it matches the left. We don't want imbalanced training based on someone's settings. Good, and down. Okay, so as a final floor progression before we move into an exercise that involves some range of motion, we're actually going to get Ethan to train the glutes bilaterally, so that's both sides at the same time. So what I want him to do is bend both knees 90 degrees, And again, we're working on keeping his pelvis stable. What I'm gonna get him to do is lock his ankles nice and tight, and we're gonna get him to turn his toes out to the side. Perfect. And now I'm gonna get him to spread his knees apart, keeping his heels together. Good, a little closer than that, we don't wanna go too far. Now this is something where no matter what range of motion you have, based on the mechanics of this situation, this is going to go into the lower back a little bit. That's normal. You should feel your lower back a little bit on this. Again, you don't want to emphasize it. You want to be working on the glutes as much as we possibly can. But this does pose some range in the lower back, so if you have any lower back issues, I'd be really careful with this one. For those of you who have no lower back issues or you feel comfortable doing it, it's a great glute exercise. So what we're going to get Ethan to do is, by emphasizing squeezing his butt, we're going to get him to lift his legs off the ground. And again, we're going to do 3 to 6 repetitions of 10 to 15 seconds each. In normal practice, again, because of this is a demo, we're going to do 2. Good, and come on right down. And I'm keeping my fingertips on Ethan's posterior superior iliac spine, basically on the back of his pelvis, to make sure that he's not going much further than his hip range, that we're not getting too much into his lower back. And come on up one more time for me, Ethan. So Ethan's got very good control. He's been working out for a long time. He's been working with me for a while, so we've worked a lot on different ranges and things like that. Got very good control over his muscular system. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and down. So that's a great, you can relax. That's a great floor progression that really emphasizes the glutes. Now what we're going to do is bring in just a simple tool from the gym. You probably have something similar at home you could use if you wanted to, or you could use the same tool in the gym. We're going to add some range of motion to this exercise as a means of progressing it forward. So as I said, now it's time to add some range of motion to your glute training, or to your isometric glute training. So what we're going to get Ethan to do as a final progression here for this vlog is bend both knees 90 degrees. So he's going to go into the same position he was in for that bilateral floor exercise. And so we're going to get him good. Spread your toes apart to make sure your heels are right together and sort of even. There we go. And what we're going to get him to do is drop his legs down so that he's a little bit below the bench. So relatively speaking, you're in a different hip position than you would have been if you were lying on the floor. Now you can get kind of below that neutral hip position. And what I'm going to get him to do is just from here, squeeze his glutes just like he did on the floor and rise up as high as he can. And for these ones, because we're looking at a particular range of motion, and come on down Ethan, we're going to have him hold it for a little less time. So this is the kind of thing you can start to do for 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions, or 6 to 10 repetitions. Whatever you feel is best for you. Just get a really great pump in your glutes. Come on up again, Ethan. Let's have you do 6 or 8 in a row. We'll come on back down. Just hold the top for about 2 seconds. And 2. And again, because of Ethan's great body control, you notice he doesn't have a ton of weight down on his fingers. And come on down. His hands are just on the ground for a little bit of extra stability. And come on up again. He's not using his upper body to gain any more range of motion. Like, he's not pushing down into the ground or anything like that. A lot of people think range is a huge factor in their workouts, and it's definitely a factor, but going for more isn't necessarily better. We want to go with what our bodies are comfortable with. Working within the body's current settings is always a better way to approaching training and progressing yourself forward, particularly from a safety standpoint. I think that was 5, I can't count, but let's go up for 3 more. And 6. Good, come on down. And come on up again. Good, nice and tight. And 8. And come on down. Alright, so now I'm going to get Ethan to stand up, and just as a sort of final demo of what we were talking about before, we said that we were going to use these exercises in part to prepare us for squats and lunges. So what I'm going to have Ethan do, I'm going to move the bench back just a little bit. I'm going to have him do some body weight squats, just nice and slow. Come on down. Good. Come on up again. And with these, open your feet a little wider. Good. Make sure you push your hips back when you come down. Let your body fold. And come on up. How do your glutes feel?
Oh, they're on fire.
I'm sure they are. Come on down again. Yeah. So again, you'll not only feel your glutes more in exercises like squats and lunges, but because of the preparatory isometric exercise you've done, they'll be better prepared to handle the forces involved in squats and lunges. I hope you use this well. This is Sam Trotta for Human Detour, www.striation6.com. Thanks very much.